How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having an awesome day. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of doing some live attacks, I wanted to show you the defenses that I have been able to accumulate using this base from last season. So, every single person that has attacked this base so far has not been able to 3-star the first stage. Now, this is the first stage. It was a very, very popular base layout at the towards the last week or so of the last season, but it looks to be doing very, very well versus people in the beginning of this current season that may not have seen it before and are unfamiliar with how to take it out. So let's take a look at some of the defenses and see what people are trying to do. So typically what I use is I'll just have the same base layout up until about like the top 200. I'll just use whichever one. Pretty much all the bases that I have linked in the Discord from various people that have created them, they're really, really good bases. So I highly recommend using one or all of them and rotating them out. But typically you're not going to fight the same person multiple times, so you can really just get away with using one base until you start versing the same people day in, day out. Yeah. Until then, we can see there have been a variety of ground attacks and air attacks. So it looks like they were trying to use the bomber. Didn't quite create the pathing, so all of the P.E.K.K.A.s and troops went around the base. They tried to stun up some of the defenses with some hogs. Did not really go so well for them, so they ended up failing on the base. Let's take a look at another of the defensive replays. Using some cannon carts and some baby dragons. Very interesting. Now this base is a little bit weaker to like a cannon cart walk, but if people have never seen it before and they're unfamiliar with Teslas being on the first stage, it can throw a lot of people off. So like right there, that guy, he tried to save the cannon cart with 2 baby dragons. The baby dragons did not really get a whole lot of value, so he does have the battle chopper chugging along, but the biggest thing is this lava launcher is not going to go down, so these cannon carts stand no chance. There are, I believe, are also some big bombs around the base, so sometimes these cannon carts do end up hitting those and dying. But this base is doing really, really good, so highly recommend you guys take a look at it. We'll take a look at some more defenses. Typically at the start of the season, usually it's like hit or miss. Usually, like some people fail on the first stage, and then some people just get a 6-star because they're familiar with an old base layout. But I think this base it's just a little bit too sneaky. And like it was pretty tricky for even the top players to go against. Like there were probably like 3 or 4 variations of this base, little tweaks. Some of them were better versus cannon cart, some of them were better versus P.E.K.K.A.s, some were better versus baby dragon spam. So I think since there were so many variations and since it was just in the last week, I think not enough people were able to really find like a good strategy that was reliably able to 6-star this base. So what I always say is if you can't at least clear the first stage, like you pretty much have to build the base and use it as your own so that you can hopefully get some people that are good at attacking and can clear the first stage. Then you can see how they're doing it and you'll be like, oh, okay, you can do it this way, and this way. Then you can practice, implement that attack strategy, and then you can go back to using an older base if you want. But yeah, this base I've never had the start of the season. I mean, it's only been a few seasons since the start of the new Builder Base 2.0, but I've never had this happen where, in the first couple days nobody clears the first stage. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. So this base link is in the Discord. Feel free to join. I always post the 3 current bases that I like to use and rotate from what other people have built. I'm no base builder myself, so I typically like to use a base that I have a lot of difficulty with, or that is very popular, test it out, and then if it holds up well, then put it into the circulation. There's also a couple of the base links in the Discord that I have since retired, as they're kind of older bases. They don't really hold up too well now that people have found very reliable ways to 6-star them. So yeah, my plan for this season is to just keep using this base. It's pretty common for people. I mean, it was very common for people in the top 100, I guess. Maybe not in the top 200, but we'll see. So I'm just going to use this base until like the last week or so. And then I do like to rotate back and forth. Typically there will be like a new next best base that people are using and having trouble with. So it all changes with the meta. But yeah, the unique thing with this base is that there are only 12 visible defenses on this first stage. So there are 3 unknown spots for Teslas, which is pretty cool. So it's pretty much the main thing that's throwing people off, is that they think an area of the base is safe to attack, then a Tesla pops up, either kills the cannon cart or changes the trajectory of a baby dragon, or maybe the P.E.K.K.A.s are inside the base and the Teslas are outside the base, and it's, I mean, you can just see it's causing these people some troubles. So I'm sure these guys are pretty decent at attacking, but when you verse a regular player with one of the top bases, it's gonna be pretty tough. So like right there, that bomber is pretty much done for. So I was able to clear one of the walls, but again, the other bomber also died off. So unfortunately, with those 2 bombers, did not open up the Mega Tesla compartment. And then P.E.K.K.A.s are a hard strategy to master. You pretty much have to have like groups of 2 P.E.K.K.A.s cruising around the base, and then you have to have very, very specific pathing for them to go from defense to defense, and you have to be really, really knowledgeable of when to use their ability on which defenses to help clear out the base. So yeah, this base seems to be holding up pretty well versus all kinds of different strategies, at least in the beginning of the season. We'll look at a couple more. It's not very common where people are using both P.E.K.K.A. spam and Baby Dragon spam and having a hard time with it. This base, we haven't seen too much of it, but like the cannon cart attacks, there are some troubles. Mostly it's with this lava launcher. It's very hard to get to. Typically you have to use like a whole battle chopper or a couple of baby dragons. But then there are these other high arch towers, so it's a little bit of an issue. You can try and do like a cannon cart walk, but typically with the lava launcher and the lower arch tower with the double cannon, it just shreds through the battle machine, so you don't get that much value with the cannon carts. And then a lot of times, we'll speed through here and we'll just take a look at the base. There are a couple of push traps on the first stage, so sometimes you can put them on popular angles that people like to use. A little bit hard to predict where people are going to place the cannon carts, but you might get lucky and have someone place a cannon cart directly on top of a push trap. So we'll take a look at this last attack. There's another P.E.K.K.A. spam attack from this right hand side. Pretty rough times for them. They were able to save the bombers, which pretty good for them, but as these P.E.K.K.A.s move into the base, we have some of these small bombs in the core, and those bombs, they do add up. So the lower level battle machine as well, which is not enough to get through the Mega Tesla, and especially the lowered arch tower and the double cannon on the back end. Just a lot of damage for P.E.K.K.A.s to deal with, not even to mention there is still the Crusher. So got another fail, but so far that is, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fails in a row from, I believe, 8 different people. And yeah, it started at around 5,000 and we're up to around, I think the highest was a 5,193 person attacked us. So kind of crazy, but I just wanted to showcase this base. We didn't even get to take a look and see how the second stage performs. Typically, the second stage isn't all that crazy. If they can clear the first stage with enough power and they have enough troops left over, second stage isn't anything to write home about, but it is a little bit deceiving, depending on what strategies they're using, if they're trying to go air or ground. So, link is in the Discord. Be sure to join the Discord, check it out. Let me know how the base works for you. Sadly, I do not know who made this base. I haven't really been looking around and checking and trying to figure it out, but whoever made it did an awesome job. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Helps me out a bunch. There's a couple more videos on the screen if you want to keep on watching. Until next time, take care.